Day 2 of our trip to Portland. The weather seems to improve a little bit, so we're going to walk along the coastal path to Portland Bill. Round past the Portland Museum and we head down the path towards the sea. Church Ope Cove, a small secluded beach on the sheltered eastern side of Portland. It's part of the Jurassic coast. In 789 AD, the first recorded Viking attack within the British Isles occurred on Portland's coast. It is believed that Church Ope Cove was the location. Portland had a large history of smuggling, and Church Ope Cove was one of the famous smuggling beaches. As we walked along the beach, Jane found a little dogfish that had been washed up. I, on the other hand, found a rock that was very slippery. Not to be outdone, Jane has a little stumble, but recovers quickly. Didn't even notice it. As we walk back up to the coastal path, we can look behind at the cove, and at the far side, top of the hill, is Rufus Castle. The partially ruined castle overlooking the cove was originally built for King William II, who was known as William Rufus. It's about 2 miles along the coastal path from Church Ope Cove to Portland Bill. For most of the time, the path is straightforward and easy to follow, although in some places it is slightly more difficult as the ground becomes uneven or steep. Fake.
A faggot.
We arrive at Cheney Wearers Viewpoint and Car Park. The word Wearers, if that's how it's pronounced, comes from the Celtic word for wild or rough land. Portland is famous for its stone, Portland stone, and we're just taking a little detour from the coastal path to walk to a disused quarry.
How do we get over that?
It's quite a steep and slippery descent into the quarry. In the early 14th century, some stone was sent to Exeter for use at the cathedral, and some to London for the Palace of Westminster. In 1619, Portland stone was used to build the great banqueting hall of Whitehall Palace, and later for restoration work at St Paul's Cathedral. Quick look at the map will show us going from the cottage to Chainway's car park, and then now we're going along to Portland Lighthouse. If we look back, we can see where the quarry was where we've just come from. The path opens up here for a little while, and it's fairly straightforward to walk along. Along the path you can see reminders of Portland's history with quarrying and working with the stone. Almost everywhere you look are the remains of cut stone from a past where stone was Portland's main, if not its only industry. This wooden crane was used to lower boats and fishermen down to the sea. There are two species of the cormorant family which commonly occur in the UK, cormorants and sharks. They can be tricky to tell apart, but I think these three are cormorants. This one seems to be a good old crane. Has had three lighthouses built on it. The first, or upper lighthouse as it became known, was the first lighthouse to be fitted with the new argand lamps, which were 10 times brighter than previous lamps. The second lighthouse, built around the same time in 1788, became known as the lower lighthouse. This was brighter still, as it had a new type of lens which was lit by 6 of these argand lamps. Both lighthouses were rebuilt in 1869. The third and current lighthouse at Portland Bill was lit for the first time on the 11th of January 1906. The lower lighthouse is now a bird observatory.
A crumb in your eye.
The 136 feet high red and white lighthouse has been unmanned since March 1996 and is controlled from Harwich. Time for a cup of tea and a stone. And why not? We'd been watching the gulls out the window, and they seemed to be following a shoal of fish, so Jane went outside to film it. Leaving the Lobster Pot Cafe, refuel with tea and scone, we head on the next part of our journey. Surprisingly, the Lobster Pot doesn't actually sell lobster. Heading back along the coast road, we're heading back towards Church Ope Cove and to see the church that is there. As we're walking back along the road from Portland Bill up towards Church Ope Cove, the weather changes again and the rain starts. The site was once occupied by a Saxon church. Later, Edward the Confessor bestowed Portland to the Benedictine monks of St. Swithin of Winchester, who in turn built a new church over the old Saxon foundations in 1100. In 1340 and 1404, French raiders landed at Church Ope Cove and torched St Andrews. Both times the church was rebuilt. The remains of the church are Grade 2 listed, as is the southern retaining wall. Also by the side of the churchyard are 3 monuments who are also Grade 2 listed. You can clearly see here that one of these monuments has got a skull and crossbones carved into it. The rain intensifies as we go through the churchyard, down once more to Church Ope Cove. As we get to the bottom, we turn left and head back up the concrete steps to the top of the cove. These steps were laid out by the local council in 1906, at a time when the beach was becoming increasingly popular as a recreational area.